Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ and in this video we are going to be talking about a new DCEU movie. Yes, one of the last movies in the DC universe before it gets completely redone. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, we are going to be talking about Shazam! Fury of the Gods. You know, I haven't had one of these reviews in a while, but let's talk about Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This is one of the most 1 or 2 star movies I've seen in quite a bit. Boy, I almost dropped off a whole star because of the insufferable first final credit scene. There is 2 post-credit scenes in this movie. The first one drove me up a wall. The second one was still more of, oh, we're still trying to do this. For what? For who? For what's going on here? With the world of DC Studios right now, we're in a bit of a weird spot. We have James Gunn about to do a new Superman movie with a new casting of Superman, but it seems like we haven't fully wanted to reboot the universe. There's still a lot of ties to what came before. Even with this movie, they weren't like a definitive ending. They definitely made it seem like they wanted to do more Shazam movies. Let's see if this does well at the box office. Maybe that will come around. But as a movie itself, boy, Shazam! Fury of the Gods does not deserve a sequel. The first one didn't deserve a sequel. It made no money and it wasn't that great. This one is not great at all and will probably make no money as well. It's just frustrating. I feel like DC is in a weird spot where they really wanted to push Shazam. There is a lot of movies that they canceled. They threw away Batgirl, but y'all didn't throw away this? Oh, it's because it's Peter Safran producing and he won't get rid of the movie he likes, but he'll get rid of the other ones. This movie has like a weird vibe to it. It just definitely feels like, why? I don't often call movies pointless, but if we're supposed to be trying to make DC a different thing for a new generation and fix all the mistakes, why aren't we pushing it forward? The state of DC is strange, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods is like kind of smacked in the middle of it. All of this craziness, and then it can't even be a good movie. This has one of the most clunky, forgettable, what the hell just happened third acts. Like, I could have fell asleep for 20 minutes of this movie, of this very long 2-hour and 10-minute movie, and not missed a damn thing. There was a lot of running around. There was a lot of just, what are we doing in this movie? The final act is like almost parody level of like, this is how you do a superhero movie 10 years ago, and it still feels, this movie feels dated. It just feels so from a superhero era that we're kind of moving away from. I swore we were done with these type of superhero movies, these kind of bland, no personality, so let's make the most amount of people happy with what's going on. It feels like one of those, and I just don't understand why. I wanted more from this, and I don't know why I was expecting this to be better than it was, but I wanted more. Billy Batson is back. He is also known as Shazam, mostly played by Zachary Levi. Boy, they upped Zachary Levi in this movie a lot to their detriment. I have to get this out of the way. Zachary Levi, to me, is a charisma vacuum. There is not a single spark of joy I get from this actor. He feels like if a AI bot was told to make Ryan Reynolds, this is what we would get. It's just joke after joke that does not land. This movie tries to have Zachary Levi say every joke possible, and not a single one of them was noteworthy. I will say at least the Shazam family had more to do in a way in this movie. I actually really liked the Shazam family. They carried it through, you know, people like Meagan Good. I also really like Grace Caroline Fulton, I believe her name is. She plays Mary in this. Really, really fun. She actually was a good heart and soul to a lot of moments. The story is nothing. Like, Shazam's back, yay. He's in a weird predicament where he's trying to kind of move on with his life. He wants to kind of be a superhero, but the town's not really liking him. None of that really matters because these goddess women come, you know, daughters of Atlas, and they have to figure out how to end them. It's a very generic, basic plot. What kills me, though, is things like, well, you know, Billy's kind of being hated by the city. Oh, here's this cool, weird, like, room that has a bunch of different doors. Oh, there's this, and this. None of it gets paid off. Like, this movie is the complete opposite of what I felt about John Wick last night. People kept saying John Wick Chapter 4 is a bad script. At least that stuff set things up in the first 20 minutes and then paid it off by the end of this movie. This movie had so much thrown in there, just so much like references, so many plot points, so many ways you could take the story, and it never really capitalized on any of that. It went for the blandest, the most generic route. I would say villain-wise, at least Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu were a bit smarter, than the average bear in these movies. I think they definitely understood what they needed to do. Helen Mirren felt a bit more underutilized than I would have expected. Lucy Liu had a bigger role than I expected, so points for that, but they both had such lame, weak material to say. They seemed to have fun with the roles, but it was just like, oh, you have Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, and this is what you wrote them? Oh, another actress in this movie who was not in the first one, Rachel Zegler. She was in West Side Story. I liked her a lot in this. She was actually one of my few shining points. There's a cuteness to her, but there's also a power and command. Like, I got it a little bit in West Side Story, but I got it a lot more here. Rachel Zegler definitely impressed me, and I would like to see her in more. Same can't be said about Zachary Levi, who is casting this man? Who? I know Ryan Reynolds is busy, but just call him up. I don't know. There's just so many other actors that I'm like, y'all call Chuck? Okay. Why? That's a whole point of this. That's my whole feeling of this movie is, why? David Sandberg is a director I highly respect. Coming from the horror community, he has a style, a brand, a viewpoint that I normally really like. It's just these two Shazam movies. It feels like he's trying to fit his type of storytelling, his type of characters, his world into this, and it just definitely doesn't work. Another problem I have is a lot of people in this movie have the same voice. It feels like all of the characters are being written by the same person, which I know they are, but each one of these characters should have a different charm, a different thing. When you get to specifically that post-credit scene, I would say that felt like a James Gunn thing. And boy, if that's what we're in for, if it's just these type of jokes for the next 5 years of movies, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm a big DC fan. I've loved it since Batman Returns. I've loved all of the Zack Snyder stuff. The only DC movie I've never seen is Jonah Hex. So I love DC. I want it to do well. But I just feel like movies like this are exactly why we get made fun of. Like, this is a movie like on Quantum Mania level of just, bland, bad. This movie is joyless and not in I like a serious, dry drama. But this movie just sparked nothing from me. I laughed or maybe giggled once, twice. There's just not a lot in this movie for me personally, but I don't really see how this can work for a lot of people. There's no overarching world universe building stuff. As a singular film, there's not a lot to compel you. There's a lot of wasted time having dialogue that I'm like, the hell is this? Who wrote this? Like, there's just a lot of times where I'm like, who is this movie for? It feels like it's just to get Zachary Levi a paycheck and to get Peter Safran another project under his DC belt. It feels very corporate. There is just something weird about this, and corporate from the politics behind it to the actual movie having to be the most four-quadrant, make everyone happy. It's a bit darker than I thought it would be, but then those dark moments are undercut by some of the weakest, childish jokes, and I know that Billy Batson is a child in a human body, like a grown-up body. It's just cringy, and it's also me not liking the Billy Batson Shazam character, but it's been done well. I mean, Justice League War is a time I don't really like Billy Batson, but he's a lot more entertaining in that movie. This movie tried so much and got nowhere. Alright everyone, that is it for my review of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I don't often do as negative reviews as this was, but this has, to me, no redeeming factors in it. Maybe Lucy Liu is redeeming factor, and I kind of liked Rachel Zegler more than I liked her in a previous movie, but those are barely qualifications to make this a good movie. This is certainly like one of the weaker mainstream big box office movies I've seen this year, and I think one of my least favorite DC movies of all time. Alright everyone, what did you think of this review? What do you think of Shazam! Fury of the Gods? Are you interested in seeing it? It comes out this weekend, so yay, it's projected to make a lot of money. Have fun. What are you thinking? Share your feelings in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Let's talk about Shazam down below.